Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. In the previous class we have started our discussion regarding freedom and all of you must have your book in front of you and we will recapitulate what we have studied in the last class. We have seen that freedom is such a thing that everyone wants to have freedom. Everyone wants that their life should be in their own control. Okay, and they want that they must have freedom of expression. They must have freedom to express themselves in whatever ways they want to express. But one thing which is important in this regard, that freedom is never absolute. We cannot talk of absolute freedom, because freedom is always there with some restrictions or constraints. And the controversy which arise regarding freedom is towards what should be the degree of restriction, how much restriction. Okay, so this has gave rise to the problem of freedom. Okay, so we have started the chapter with the story of Nelson Mandela, what he suffered, what he underwent for the cause of freedom. In his book, The Long Walk to Freedom, in his book he has it is his autobiography, and in this book he has written the struggle he had for the freedom of the people of South Africa. He sacrificed his whole life for this ideal of freedom. So he was not going to achieve anything personal through this freedom. He wanted to achieve, he wanted a dignified life for the whole people of South Africa, and for that purpose, for that cause, he led the struggle against the apartheid regime of the white people. And in this regard, we have seen that he had spent 28 years of his life in solitary confinement, and it was his choice, which is most important to remember, that if he was there to underwent so much trauma because he was leading the freedom struggle of South Africa, that was only because of his choice. He was not compelled by someone. It was his choice that he had chosen that path. Okay, and after Nelson Mandela, we have discussed about Aung San Suu Kyi, who is an important leader of Myanmar, an important freedom leader of Myanmar, and she has also sacrificed her personal life for the cause of freedom, for the cause of rights of the people of Myanmar. And we see that there was a transition from military rule to democratic rule in Myanmar, and in this transition she played the vital role. The military rule was highly oppressive and suppressive, and she led the fight against this military rule. And then there was restoration of restoration of democracy in Myanmar, and in this her contribution will always be remembered. She has sacrificed her personal life. She was kept away from her children, from her husband. She was not even able to meet her husband when he was suffering from cancer. So all this was also the choice of Aung San Suu Kyi. She was not compelled by anyone to opt that kind of life. It was her choice because she has given more importance to the ideal of freedom than the personal pleasures of life. Okay, and we have also seen the name of her book. The name of her book is Freedom from Fear. And in this book, she has written that what is freedom? Freedom is freedom from fear. Okay, so in her book, she says, "For me, real freedom is freedom from fear, and unless you can live free from fear, you cannot have a dignified human life." So, freedom means we must be free from fear. There should not be any kind of fear in our mind. And when this fear will not be there, then only we will be able to live a dignified human life. And dignity is the main purpose why we want freedom, why we want equality, because we want a dignified life. Without freedom, without equality, we cannot live a dignified life. So freedom means freedom from fear, and this freedom ensures dignified human life. It is written in her book. These are deep thoughts that lead us to pause and consider their implications. What are the consequences of such thoughts? Freedom is given the utmost importance. We must not, her words suggest, be afraid of the opinion of other people, or of the attitude of authority, or of the reactions of the members of our community to the things we want to do. So, what does it mean कि our mind should be free from fear? It means that we should not be afraid of opinion of other people. If I am going to do something, what other people will think about me? When we are not thinking that, then we are free from fear. When we are not thinking that if I am going to do something, what will be the attitude of authority, how the authority will react. If I am not thinking that, then my mind is free from fear. Or of the reaction of the members of our community, हमारे community के members, how they will react to my deed, to my action. If I am not thinking that, then I am free from fear. Of the ridicule of our peer, or of speaking our mind. So when we feel कि whatever we are thinking, we can express it, then it is freedom. When we hesitate in speaking out whatever we are thinking, then it is not freedom. So this is freedom from fear. Yet we find that we often exhibit such fear. In our life, we experience, we see that we have such fear in our mind. For Aung San Suu Kyi, living a dignified human life requires us to be able to overcome such fear. In order to overcome such fear, we must live a dignified human life. From these two books of Nelson Mandela and Aung San Suu Kyi, we can see the power of the ideal of freedom, an ideal that was at the center of our national struggle and the struggle of the people of Asia and Africa against British, French and Portuguese colonialism. So, these two books were mentioned only for the purpose of making you aware of the importance of the ideal of freedom. How much important is ideal of freedom? That in order to become free, in order to make the country free, these two people, these are not the only two people, there are many such people are in the world, and but in this context we are referring these two people, and we are seeing that for the freedom of the country these people have sacrificed their personal life. And not only this, we see that the countries of Asia and Africa, which were the colonies of the European power, like the British, the French, the Portuguese, they all were the colonial powers. And the countries of Asia and Africa were the colonies of these powerful countries. And we have experienced that these countries, how these countries made effort, how these countries fought a long struggle in order to become free. We have seen, we know the freedom struggle of our own country. So in this way, freedom is such an important ideal that people are ready to sacrifice their life. They don't worry for their life, and they give more importance to this ideal of freedom than the pleasures of their life. Now we will see what is freedom. Okay, this is your 2.2, section 2.2, page number 19. A simple answer to the question what is freedom is absence of constraint. If we want to answer in a very simple way, we can say what is freedom. Freedom is absence of constraints. So absence of constraint है ना. अगर सिंपली हम लोग कहना चाहें तो फ्रीडम का मतलब होता है किसी भी तरह के बंधन का नहीं होना, रोक का नहीं होना. There should not be any kind of limitation. There should not be any kind of restrictions. There should not be any kind of constraints. Freedom is said to exist when external constraints on the individual are absent. So, when we say that freedom is existing, freedom is there when there is no external constraints on an individual. An individual is not put under any kind of external constraints. In terms of this definition, an individual could be considered free if he or she is not subject to external control or coercion and is able to make independent decision and act in an autonomous way. So, according to this definition of freedom, that freedom is absence of constraints, it means that we will say an individual is free when he is not under any kind of constraints, he is not under any kind of coercion, and he is free to make independent decisions. He is free to make decisions on his or her own and act in autonomous way. He is free to act in whatever way he wants, he or she wants. So this is freedom according to this definition. Okay. However, absence of constraints is only one dimension of freedom. We can't say that this is all about freedom. It's not everything about freedom. Freedom is not only absence of constraints. Freedom is of course absence of constraint, but this absence of constraint is only one single aspect, one single dimension of freedom. There are so many other dimensions of freedom which are very important in order to understand the complete meaning of freedom. So, freedom is also about expanding the ability of people to freely express themselves and develop their potential. So, Another meaning of freedom is expanding the ability of an individual okay. So this is one dimension, absence of constraint. There should not be any kind of constraint, any kind of coercion on any individual. He should be free to take his own decisions. He should be free to act in an autonomous way. Other than this, there is other dimensions also. The second dimension is expanding the ability of an individual. Freedom is what is freedom? Freedom is providing such environment in which a person should be able to expand his abilities, whatever capabilities, whatever abilities are there inside a human being. That ability or capability must be developed fully. This is freedom. This capability can be developed completely only in a free atmosphere. If freedom is not there, then a person will not be able to develop his or her capabilities. He will be capable, she will be capable, but if the free atmosphere is not given to the person, then it will be just like it will be in that situation, in that environment, the person will not be able to develop his or her potential. Okay, and in this way the development of his or her personality will remain incomplete. So freedom in this sense is the condition in which people can develop their creativity and capability. So we can say that freedom is a kind of atmosphere, free atmosphere, in which a person becomes capable of developing his or her potential, developing his or her creativity and capabilities. Okay, so this is a very important aspect of freedom. We cannot express, if we are not able to express ourselves freely, if we are not able to express our feelings, express our views in a free manner, then there cannot be the complete development of the personality. Our personality will be suppressed because of the lack of freedom. So freedom is very much important for the development, complete development of the personality. The personality of a person cannot develop fully in the absence of free atmosphere. So both this aspect of freedom, the absence of external constraints as well as the existence of condition in which people can develop their talents are important. So these are the two important aspects or dimension of freedom. One is absence of constraints. There should not be any kind of external constraint on an individual. He or she should be free to take his own decisions. He or she should be free to act according to his or her desire. And then next is expanding the ability of an individual. How to develop the capabilities of an individual. In a free atmosphere, an individual will be able to develop his capabilities, and in this way he will be able to develop his personality. So these are the two aspects. A free society would be one which enables all its members to develop their potential with the minimum of social constraint. So we can define a free society. Which society will be considered as a free society? A free society will be that society in which everyone is getting the opportunity to develop his or her personality, because there is very reasonable social constraints are there. Okay, the constraints are very minimum and they are reasonable. So this is the definition of a free society. No individual living in society can hope to enjoy total absence of any kind of constraints or restrictions. We cannot expect from society that there will not be any kind of constraint or restrictions. There cannot be complete absence of constraints in any society, because whenever people are living together, there is bound to be some constraint, because if constraints are not there, then nothing will be in their proper place. There will be problem of law and order, and in this situation only what happen that the mighty will be able to be in a beneficial position. So it will not a desirable condition. So any society, there in any society there must be some constraints, there must be some limitations, there must be some restrictions on the freedom. There cannot be absolute freedom. No individual living in society can hope to enjoy total absence of any kind of restraints or restrictions. It becomes necessary then to determine which social constraints are justified and which are not. So we see that on the one hand we are saying that freedom is absence of constraint, but freedom is not complete absence of constraint. Freedom is absence of unreasonable constraint. There should not be unreasonable constraints on the freedom of the people. Constraints ho, but these constraints should be reasonable. These constraints should be justified. So now we have to find out how can we judge a constraint to be reasonable, and how can we judge a constraint to be unreasonable. So we will see that to understand which social constraints are necessary, discussion on freedom need to look at the core relationship between the individual and the society, okay, within which he or she is placed. So what we find that if we want to know the reasonable constraints, which constraints are reasonable and which constraints are unreasonable, so if we want to know this, for in order to understand this, what is required, that we must understand the relationship between an individual and the society, okay, because everything depends on this relationship, okay. That is, we need to examine the relationship between individual and society. What is the relationship between individual and society? Who is more important, individual or society? If we consider that individual is more important, then in that case there will be lesser constraint. And if we are of the opinion, we are seeing that society is more important, then there will be more constraints in order to protect the interest of the society. So this is the relationship. What is the relationship between the society and the individual is existing? We would need to see which features of the society allow the individual the freedom to choose, decide or act, and which do not. So we need to analyze the features of the society. Which feature of the society is allowing the individual to the freedom to choose, the freedom to decide or act. So what are the features of society? Okay, and in this regard we will see that we would need to determine which features are desirable and which features are undesirable. Okay, and which should be removed and which should not. The undesirable features should be removed and the desirable features should not be removed. Further, we need to see if principles which we use to differentiate necessary from unnecessary constraint also apply to the relationship between individual and groups and nation. So we see that whatever principles are there, and on the basis of principles we are differentiating between necessary constraints and unnecessary constraints, and we see that these principles also apply to relationship between individual and groups and nation. So this is the most important thing about the constraint. We must understand the which is more important between the individual and the society. What are the features of society which are allowing the individual to take decisions, to act, and all these things. Okay. Thus far, we have defined freedom as the absence of constraint. Okay. To be free means to reduce or minimize social constraint. If we say what is the meaning of freedom? Freedom is to minimize the constraints of society. जितना ज़्यादा constraints होगा उतना freedom कम होगा. So what is freedom? Freedom is minimum social constraints, because these constraints limit our ability to make choices freely. If we are under constraints, then we will not be able to choose freely. We will not be able to act freely. However, this is only one aspect of freedom. This is one aspect. To put it another way, freedom also has a positive dimension. So now we will see this is the negative dimension, because it is saying that there should be minimum restrictions. So it is, what is this? This is negative aspect. This is negative aspect of freedom, because it is saying that there should not be social constraints on the freedom of an individual. Other than this negative aspect, there is positive aspect also, and this expanding the ability of an individual, this is the positive aspect, because this definition or this aspect of freedom is focusing on positive thing, that is development of the personality of an individual, development of the capabilities of an individual. So this is positive aspect, because according to this aspect, what is freedom? Freedom is an atmosphere in which an individual gets opportunity to develop his personality in a complete manner. Okay. So, to put it another way, freedom also has a positive dimension. To be free, a society must widen the area in which individual groups, communities, or nation will be able to charter their own destiny and be what they wish to be. So, a society can be free when in the society an individual or a group or a community is getting more and more freedom to express themselves, freedom to act, freedom to take decisions. Freedom in this sense allows the full development of the individual's creativity, sensibilities and capabilities. So this is the providing an atmosphere, providing a free atmosphere in which an individual will be able to develop his capabilities, to develop his sensibilities and to develop his creativity. This is freedom. This is free society where everyone is getting such opportunity to develop his capabilities in full manner. So these creativity, sensibility and capabilities can be in any area of life. It can be in sports, it can be in science, it can be in art, music or exploration. So that freedom must be there, that a person is free to develop his creativity, sensibilities and capabilities in any field of life. A free society is one that enables one to pursue one's interest with a minimum of constraints. So we will say that which society will be said to be a free society. A free society is that society in which an individual is free to do according to his interest. He is not compelled to give up his interest because of circumstances, because of the constraints of the society. So there should be minimum constraint of the society, so that an individual should be free to choose according to his interest. He should not be compelled to choose from those areas in which he is not having any interest. Freedom is considered valuable because it allows us to make choices and to exercise our judgment. Why we give so much importance to freedom? Because freedom gives us an opportunity to make choices. We can choose. When we can choose, that is freedom. When we are not we cannot choose. If the situation is such that we cannot choose, we don't have that freedom of choosing, then that is lack of freedom. So freedom is to make choices. We are free to make choices, and we are free to make judgment. No one can compel us to choose something or to make judgment according to his or her desire. We should be free to make judgment according to our thinking, according to our views. It permits the exercise of the individual's power of reason and judgment. So, what is freedom? Freedom is the permission, a kind of permission for what? Permission for what? That a person is free to exercise his reason and judgment. Whatever my reason is telling me, whatever my reason is asking me to do, I should be free to do that. This is freedom. Okay. Now we will discuss other important elements of freedom in the next class.